right, the two strategies that I picked this week were anticipation guides for our reading strategy, which is found on page 52 of your go-to strategies, and I also used the writing strategy, write a letter, which is on page 64 of your go-to strategies. Now, the way that I used the anticipation guide strategy this week was giving everyone in my class a list of true, false questions on nonfiction text features. Once students completed this pre-test, in a sense, students were then given a general text explaining different text features, giving examples of text features, and then the text went in to include why the text features are important and helpful to the reader. Students then went back to their true false questions that they started with to see if they were correct or if they needed to change their original thinking. Then the way I used my writing strategy, writing a letter, was in my classroom we used our pen pal letters. So our goal was to respond to our pen pals from Evergreen Park, which is on the south side of Chicago, and they were to describe their community. Now, in social studies, we are taught map skills, and we also talk about different areas. So we talk about rural areas versus urban areas. So this is a great way for students to describe to their pen pal what their community of our rural community is like, and then describe the differences between their community versus their pen pal's community. Now, these strategies were used with the whole class, which includes my U.S.-born English language learners, a lot of which are almost fluent in English. I also have a couple at risk of being long-term English language learners. Now, I chose these strategies for several reasons. In reading, I wanted to have my students think about the text content before jumping in and reading it. I also wanted to see what they already knew about the topic. Students were, in a sense, learning themselves by reading and then going back and fixing their thought processes. In writing, I wanted to not only have students practice writing the different parts of a letter, but I wanted them to be able to convey information and meaning through their words. We did this again by having them write on one topic and then write the differences between the areas they were describing. Now, positives of these strategies: in reading, students were self-motivated to share what they already knew. They were self-motivated to check their own answers or their understandings. Students were then exposed to academic language in both strategies, and they were using a lot of formal language in their writing. These activities followed the reasons to teach academic language and academic content at the same time, according to Freeman and the other authors of ESL teaching. So the 4 reasons they give for teaching academic language and academic content at the same time are: students learn language and content at the same time, teaching language and content keeps language in its natural context, students have a real purpose for using their academic language, and students learn academic vocabulary of the different content areas, which is so true. There's a lot of overlapping. They can use the nonfiction text features in different content areas. We were pulling in social studies into our writing, so it went really well together. Now, some negatives or challenges I saw in the lesson were that the text that I picked in the reading was a little bit too difficult for some of my students' reading levels. So for next time, I would like to use different lexicals for the different reading levels, and also because this is more of a pre-reading strategy, I may just have them listen to the text so that they can respond and then fix their thinking later on. Also, some students struggled with my writing activities, so if a student's writing is really below level, it may just help for them to do read to text on an iPad instead of having to write everything out. Thank you.